Hey guys, in this video we're going to do a integration with MongoDB. As some users expressed they were getting stuck in the previous video and the tutorial on how to integrate. So we're going to do a complete new installation of MongoDB on a new workspace so you know exactly what you need to do. First of all, on this page, go towards the try for free button and then register your account. Just fill in your credentials and I will do the same and I will get back to you as soon as I'm done. As soon as you filled in all your credentials, just press the button Create Your Atlas account. From here we will need to verify our email, so let me do that right back and then get back to you. Now that we successfully pressed the button inside the email, we'll get to this page. Email successfully verified. Just press the button Continue. From here, we're going to set up our database, our cloud database. So this will take a few seconds to load. And then we will get into the installation of the database itself. As you can see here, this is a little bit of personalization. You can fill in your own preferences and I will get back to you as soon as I have done mine. Press the button Finish and then we will get back into the next section of the installation. And this will take a few seconds to store everything. As you can see here, now we are getting at the deploy your database setting. Just go with the right option, that will be a free option, right? And at the bottom left corner, you will be able to name your database. Do note that you cannot change the name once the cluster is created. So this will be the database name, basically the cluster that is going to be displayed inside the URL of your database. So for example, we couldn't rename this to anything we like to. So let's name this to UChat MongoDB. There we go. And then press create. Then we will get at the security quick start section where you will need to set up your username and password. So let me just fill in mine. Once the user has been created, as you can see here, we have a username and we have an authentication type. Then you can also manage this user if you need to. You can just press the edit button and then you will be able to manage it. So for the next section, it's really important because now we need to set up our IP addresses, right? So for this, we have a documentation which I will also list in the video description. And here you will see all of our working IP addresses. So you can just copy and paste this inside of your MongoDB account. And I will do the same and get back to you once I'm done. Just for reference, if I just copy the first one and go towards the IP address, I just paste it in. You can give it a description. Let's say UChat server 1. And we can say add entry. You can also mark your own current IP address to get access, right? So that is done as well. And for the other IP addresses, it's just a copy and paste, fill in the description and then say add entry. So let me do that right now and I will get back to you as soon as I'm done. Once you're done, you can just press the button at the bottom right corner, finish and close. And then we can say go to databases. If we go towards the database, you can say browse collection. And you can see that there are no current selections because we only set up the main database, right? And a collection is basically the database inside of a database. This portion we will cover inside of UChat itself. So first, let's connect the database that we just created with a fresh installation over at UChat. The way to do this is by going towards the overview and then press the button connect. From here, you will be able to connect your own application and you can just use the connect your application itself. And here we will have all the available data that we need to fill in, right? So as you can see here, we have the username, you have set up your password, and then we have the URL that we need to connect to. In this case, as you can see, instead of cluster 0, we renamed this to UChat MongoDB. And then we have some initial data inside the URL. So let's head over towards UChat and integrate this with our own workspace. For the server domain, we can go towards the UChat Mongodb and then this whole URL, right? We can just go and copy this and go towards pasting this inside of the server domain. Then we have the username, which we created, along with the password. In order to get the database name, and this is the part where people get stuck, we actually need to go back inside of MongoDB and create a database. We just go towards the overview of collections. As you can see, we have no collections whatsoever yet. We can then go and add my own data. We can give it a database name. So let's say UChat MongoDB. And the collection name could be anything. So let's say we are going with local DB, local database. Let's press the create button. And there we have it. So in order to get this database integrated inside of UChat, we just need to fill in this database. So if we go with the UChat MongoDB, which is the exact same database as we just created here, right? So UChat MongoDB. If we press save, we should get a verification success. And as you can see, the data has now been verified. So this is the way that you can set up your own database. Now, in order to create a new data store, as you can see here, we have a local DB data store, right? In order to create your own data store, you can go to the top right button, new data store, and you can create your own data store name. So let's say MongoDB demo. If we press save, you will see that the column fields is required. So we need to set up a few column fields. So let's go with a few column fields like first name. And let's press save. Let's go with a last name. Let's go with an email. Let's go with a phone number. And I think we will be good if we just go with these. So let's press save. You will see that a new data store has been created. If we go back towards MongoDB and refresh, we should see this also displayed inside the collections overview. And as you can see here, under MongoDB database, we now have a new data store integrated, as you can see. So now we have the MongoDB demo, right? So the one that we just created inside of UChat, this one, MongoDB demo, will now contain all of these data fields. So currently there are no query results because we need to fill these data fields in, right? But we can now pre-fill all the data directly inside of flow builders. So in order to do so, we can just go towards any chatbot that we have. So let me go towards my Omni-Channel, open the chatbot. Then from the main flow, in this case, let's just create one. We can go with an action block, go towards integrations, go towards data store. And here you will be able to edit some actions. We can add a new record. So let's go with add a record, select the data store, in this case Mongo demo. And then as you can see, all of our field names, our column names are now being pre-populated, right? We can also press the button browse data. If we do so, you will see that we don't have any new records, but we can create a new record directly on the spot, as you see here. So that is something that you can do as well. So if you want to fill your database with all kinds of product names and stuff like that, for example, a restaurant menu, you will be able to do that directly inside the Visual Flow Builder as well, instead of going towards MongoDB database and create a new entry there. So for example, if I say we want to preview an existing record, So let's go with these and then press save. You will see that this record is now being created, and if we refresh the browser itself on MongoDB, you will also see that this collection has now been added towards the query results. You will have your object ID, is basically your data record ID, which you can also add towards your subscribers' custom fields. And this will allow you to create a record for each subscriber if you so wish, but this can also be used for restaurant menus and such, right? So you can add these manually if you want to. If not, you can always go with create a custom field record this way, right? So we could say we are going with the first name, we are going with the last name, we are going with an email, and then we can also implement a phone number. So we can save the record ID, and the record ID is the ID object ID, right? So we can attach this record towards this specific subscriber. We can also map this towards a specific custom field to our own choosing. So if we say database record ID, we can just go and create this directly on the spot and save this action. Now, in order to grab all the essential data, we can just go with a question, right? We can just go with a question block. And let's say we are going to ask for the email. What is your email? Save the response. And then we could go with another question block to ask for the phone. And let's go with the phone type question block. What is your phone number? And we can add that towards the phone system field. There we go. And then lastly, actually, let's just ask all the credentials, because I'm going to test this in web chat and we need all these credentials as well. So what is your first name? I'm going to save this towards first name. And then the last one will be question. What is your last name? What is your last name? We're going to add that towards the last name system field. From here, we're going to export this towards a new record inside of MongoDB. And then to make sure that everything is going well, we're going to output the record ID just to make sure that everything is transferred correctly. So let's say we are going with the record ID just to print it, and let's see if this works. Going to preview, going to select the web chat and preview this inside of a pop-up. So let's go towards all the questions. So what is your email? Let's just go with another one. What is my phone number? What is my first name? And what is my last name? And then the record will be created. And as you can see, this record ID has now been added towards a custom field of this subscriber. So anytime you want to update certain fields inside your database for this subscriber, you can use this record ID. If we go back towards Mongo database and refresh, you should be able to see this new record popping up now. As you can see here, we now have the new record ID ending at FD2. So let's see if that correlates with the one that we have inside this window, FD2. So that's the correct record. And now we have all the credentials. Now, if you want to update certain things, you can do so as well. So if we go with another action block, go with the integrations, then the data store, go with edit actions, and let's say we want to update a record. Going to select the data store, the record ID we saved, right? So that will be the database record ID. And let's say we want to update the email. So let's update this to my Gmail, for example, and let's see if this works. So if we are going with the update, let's also go with an confirmation message, and let's say update. Right, so let's preview this step. And let's see if we get the message updated inside the chat window. Updated. So if we refresh inside of MongoDB, you should now see my Gmail address instead. So as you can see here, now my Gmail address has been added and the record has been updated. So MongoDB database data store comes with a lot of different kinds of actions. So if we take a quick look, we can add a new record, we can update a record, we can add or replace a record. So replace a record if a record ID exists, otherwise add a new record towards the data store. Basically, this is the exact same thing as the upsert row feature inside of Google Sheets. We have a get record, so if you want to get certain records that you already have from another application, right? You want to fetch that inside of the UChat subscriber, then you can do that as well. You can check the existence of a record. We can delete records, we can delete all records, we can counter records, we can search the records for certain criteria, and we can also find a record. So I hope this video helped you into setting up your account with MongoDB. If there are any issues, do reach out to us and we will help you resolve them. And how to use this, of course, inside of your visual flow builder, because that's the most important part. And if you liked the video, do consider dropping a like because it will help us out. For now, have a great day, take care, and talk soon.